Hey, what's going on, guys? Now, I'll be pleasantly surprised if anybody remembers this one. The not-so-mystery game today is Phelios. Originally released in arcades, I'm assuming, but I only know it as a early Sega Genesis home release. Never saw this in arcades myself, and I was very young back then, but I do have early memories of, the Simpsons arcade game, X-Men, the X-Men arcade game, and the Ninja Turtles games, obviously Street Fighter 2. So maybe this one was a little bit before that time. I might have just missed this one by a year or two. But it's an old school top-down shooter. Pretty standard stuff, but with the Roman gods as a motif. So it gives it a little bit of flair, a little different from the norm in that area. It's pretty... I hesitate to say it's difficult because compared to some shoot 'em ups, it's fairly forgiving. For one thing, you have a health bar, but it's not an easy game either. It is very old school in every way, so now I haven't played this game literally since I was probably, I'd say maybe 6 or 7 at the oldest, maybe. And when I played this game, this was back before I had any systems of my own. My cousin and his friend, who were basically my gateway into most things gaming related, because they were much older, they had money, and they bought everything under the sun just about. I mean, thanks to them I got to play TurboGrafx, Neo Geo, things that most of my friends had no clue even existed. Because they didn't even live in the city. I had to go way out to even see them, so they were way out there in the suburbs, and it was always like going to Candyland or Disney World or Six Flags. Imagine some fantastical, magical place, and Neverland. A trip to them, that's what that was like. It's like every time I went to see them, ooh, what games are we gonna see today? My brother and me, that's what we said. It's always something new when we went to see them. So, but yeah, my cousin's friend, he was hot stuff because he was the first one to have the Sega Genesis, and this was back when Sega did what Nintendo don't. Super Nintendo wasn't even out at this time, so this was extremely impressive. My brother had an 8-bit NES, so we're at home, we're playing Mario, we're playing Zelda 2, we're playing Castlevania, Mega Man, and we're having a great time, sure. But then we head out to meet my cousin and his friend, and we get to play stuff like this. And yeah, Strider, Shinobi, it was amazing. So I hope you don't mind. I'm not going to talk too much here, just kind of reminiscing out loud with you all. I do hope somebody out there has experienced this before. If not, well, you get to enjoy it now. Thanks to emulation these days, it's not too hard to go back and revisit a lot of classics, so by all means, check this game out if you haven't. It's very, very good. I'm going to show off a few of the stages here if I can. It's really a matter of how long can I stay alive. This first boss, Medusa, has a pretty easy pattern, so shouldn't have any problems here. Oh, there we go. I believe we're trying to save, was it Artemis? I wasn't quite paying attention. And we're playing as Apollo. So wait, these are the Greek gods then, right? Because Greek and Roman have their own versions of the same gods. Yeah, I'm working on it. Death Dungeon. Doesn't sound too accommodating. Let's not extend our stay. pretty standard by the book fare, as you can see here. You get our options. The speed up is actually very helpful. And a whole lot of fodder. So much fodder and not a drop to drink. That charge shot is your best friend. You're going to want to use that liberally. It's funny, you listen to a lot of commentary, political commentary. Liberal is almost a profane word, the way some folks use it. And by the way, I don't mean to imply anything when I say that in terms of my personal views. Liberal, conservative, I mean, to me, those are just buzzwords at this point. In and of themselves, they don't really say a whole lot. You know, you could be a liberal douchebag or a conservative douchebag. It really depends on what kind of person you feel like being. You know, to me, that's no different than a nice person who happens to be this ethnicity versus this person who happens to be a jerk who is this nationality. Are they a jerk because of their background or because of their personal life choices and attitude? I happen to think it's the latter, but hey, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe it's just me. Okay, things are getting slightly more intense now. And yeah, the rolling roulette of doom means the death of me. Let's try that again. Now, since I never got to experience this in the arcades, I really can't compare this version. I can't say how well it held up, how accurate of a translation it was, but yeah, looks and sounds good to me. And Namco did have a pretty decent early presence on the Genesis back in the day. Not so much later on. It seems like they tend to ally with whichever console is the strongest at the time. Because you see, they were early supporter of the Dreamcast, but that went away fast. Sort of their best option at the time, I think, with Soul Calibur. That's why that happened. And that was definitely a wonderful turn of events. But they had a few games for the Genesis back then. They had the Rolling Thunder series, which was probably also arcade games originally. Never saw those either. And there were some other ones here and there. I remember the Genesis having an excellent version of Miss Pac-Man, but it wasn't actually distributed by Namco. Some other company did it. But that was probably the definitive version of the game in my opinion. There was just so many features in it. So many stages, it never gets old. And I do think that was the game that got my aunt, one of my aunts, into video games. After that, yeah, she was sucked in. She got her own Super Nintendo. And probably a couple other things after that. I really don't recall. But I remember for sure she had a Super NES because we played Monopoly a little bit too much as a family, I think. Both the board game and the video game. So here we got this boomerang weapon, very useful, bounces off the walls. So you get to extend that reach, increase your potency. Nothing to help you dodge bullets, though. You're on your own with that. And this is when the levels get a little bit more interesting. And this is where moving around becomes a little bit more of an affair. This is one of the most engaging aspects of the game in my opinion, just the movement aspect, the stage layout. It's not a straight line like your typical shooting game. So you have to pay attention at all times. Those shrieks. Those effects. Now we're playing with power. They look like they're dancing, don't they? Those worms. Oh, new boss. Now this one is actually kind of tough. This might take a few tries. We have to defeat all three to proceed. Though really that orb in the back is our main target. But we have to deal with them too because they're kind of in our way. Got one of them. Oh, no, not quite. They got me instead. I think I almost got one of them down. I want to focus on the center one first. Oh, you know what? Maybe you can't kill them. Maybe they're going to continue to regenerate. So I have to just focus on that center. And they are very forgiving with the continue system. You see how close I start back. So yeah, this game is not as brutal as some of this genre. Not by far. Yeah, we're right here. Barely missed a step. So we're looking good. Everything's golden. So I think my best bet is to just focus on the center and work on my bobbing and weaving when I need to. Because they're going to keep coming back like that. Really no sense in trying to get rid of them. You know, that's like grabbing rain in a bucket and trying to throw it back up into the clouds. There we go. Get a visit from Artemis? No, you're not Artemis. Did you guys catch that? I did press the button, by the way. I kind of wonder what would have happened if I didn't hit anything. Oh. No, seriously, if you didn't catch that, go back and pause the video and check out that text. Oh, that tickled me at least. I do remember this stage. Not much else after, so that could be a sign. Are we nearing the end of our preview? Our retrospective? Possibly. We got flying green skulls, so. Ooh, and things are picking up quick. Must have caught a current. And the walls are closing in fast. Oh, I remember now, yeah. And then we've got the Pegasus Riders, who, if you don't defeat them, will pursue you. So don't ignore them. Ah, but see, they can run into the terrain just like us, because those walls will kill us. So you can use that to your advantage if you're good, kind of lead them into it, but don't lead yourself if you can help it. This music thought's got me pumped. I'm ready for anything. Including these guys. I kind of feel bad shooting them from behind though. I mean, for all I know, they're trying to get away just like I am. Weren't even looking for a fight, maybe. Let this be a lesson to you, don't drink and ride. These guys look like they're fresh out of training school. Couldn't steer to save their life, literally. And I'm one to talk, huh? Let's try it again. We'll give it one more good go. Griffin Knight is coming. Hide your valuables. Alright, I think I pretty much got this figured out now. Starting to get a bit of a rhythm forming here. This is not going to prevent me from taking the occasional hit, of course. But if I can avoid the walls, that's the main thing. Probably shouldn't, but I'm trying to goad them into the walls at the same time. Probably better to just deal with them directly, though. But when it works, it works. And oh, I think I was just about to clear that area too. That was untimely. Alright, let's make it count this time, guys. Would like to see what the next area is if I can pull it off. That was a good series. Smooth. There we go. We did it. Because I'm depending on you guys for moral support here. And there you go, a sneak peek at the next enemy, but we're going to call it a day here. That's it for this blast from the past. Please join me again next time where I feature some other random game. Have a wonderful day and hopefully see you soon.